with the mid-drive motor, with the bigger battery, with slightly better components, better geometry, and better looking too. This is the one to buy. What up YouTube? It's your boy Mr. Ocelot, back again with my Hyper E rides. On my right I got my hardtail upgraded Project Banshee, and on the left we have my $1,500 stock mid-drive full suspension E-Ride. They're both 29ers, and I wanted to just give a quick side-by-side comparison of, what do you get for your extra $900 when you opt for this $1,500 electric mountain bike. Well, the first big difference that I see is that it's a full suspension geometry and it's slacker. And what I mean by slacker is the head angle. So the angle that the fork is relative to the ground, it's kind of flatter, if that makes any sense, with the full suspension mid-drive. And the reason that's beneficial on the trail is because if you're going downhill, so I'm going to go ahead and tilt the camera a little bit to show you what I mean, but if you're going downhill, then that fork is more perpendicular to the trail and better able to absorb rocks and drops and other stuff that you go over as you're descending. So I'm going to go ahead and straighten my camera back out. So it's got a slacker head angle, which is better for the trail, and also this frame is a full suspension frame. So it's got this rear shock here, so that the rear triangle here, that's at, that and the wheel are going up and down as you roll over bumps and things in the trail. So it's a full suspension frame. It's a slacker head tube in the frame, and therefore it's just a better mountain bike frame. So it's hard to put a value on how much more full suspension slacker frame is worth to the buyer. I guess that's kind of up to you, but for me, I put that at $1,000. I feel like the frame is $1,000 better designed frame. The second big difference that you get between these two bikes, and I'm kind of talking about the stock Hyper E-Ride hub hardtail. Not necessarily this bike here, but in stock form, this bike, you get a hub motor in the rear wheel, which is greatly compromised compared to a mid-drive motor for not only mountain biking, but even just like road biking. I'd tell you what the advantages of a mid-drive motor are over a hub motor, but Hyper just went ahead and did that for me in this insert card. Looks like higher initial and continuous torque. Yeah, that's true. Climbing steep hills for a longer duration. Yeah, the hub drive wasn't good for climbing any hill, other than just the most gentle. More responsive pedal assist system. So I think that goes to this motor actually uses a torque sensor, not a cadence sensor. So that's true, more responsive even than other mid-drive motors. Balanced center of gravity for better maneuvering. That's true, because the motor's in the middle of the bike in the mid-drive, not in the rear wheel. And then lighter weight. Yeah, that's a huge advantage of a mid-drive motor. This motor, it's a Vinca motor. I don't have much information on it, but I can tell you from my other mountain biking experience that that motor to me is worth $800 more than the motor that you get with the stock hardtail. What else do you get? So now we're getting to kind of like the nitty-gritty, but this bike does come with a decent cross-country fork. It's an SR Suntour with a through axle and 100 millimeters of travel. It is a coil fork, but it's like a decent coil fork, especially if you're on the lighter end as far as your rider weight. So I'd give that fork a $100 improvement over the fork, the Hyper branded fork that came with the hardtail. The next improvement over the hardtail is the battery. This guy I think is in the 300s, 340 watt hours, I think, something like that, as compared to the hardtail batteries, which are 270 watt hours. So it's not dramatically more capacity, but it's more. If you get 50% more battery capacity, let's say, Should you pay 50% more for the battery? Yeah, I think so. Especially if it's in the same form factor and is the same weight. This guy weighs in at 5 pounds. So for the improved battery, I kind of value that at like $100. These handlebars that came with the mid-drive are much better suited for trail riding than the handlebars that came with the hardtail. So I value those wider handlebars at $30. This Mega Range freewheel that we have back here, I can't remember how many teeth it has, but it's more than came with the hardtail. It's a little bit better than the hardtail. It still needs to be swapped out, but I would value that as a $20 improvement. One question I had is, which one of these bikes is the better value? Ooh, that's a tough question, because $600, that's just so freaking cheap. It's nearly a third the cost of the full suspension mid-drive, but you do get so much more with the full suspension mid-drive. Not only like $900 more, but nearly $2,000 worth more to me. And the bike is only $1,500 bucks. So like, if you have the money, what are you waiting for? Get this bike. Forget the hardtail. I mean, you'd only get the hardtail if you literally cannot afford $1,500. So not only for mountain biking, but for the road too, guys. The mid-drive full suspension is where it's at. That's the one I'm voting for. This is the bike of the year, in my opinion. It's such an incredible value. I don't understand how Hyper is selling these bikes for $1,500. That is just bananas. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. Thanks again for watching. Peace.